What's up, Stripe Nation? Blake Albertson here with B&B Lawn Care, here with Reed with John Deere. Checking out some new mowers here for a couple of weeks, working with John Deere. I don't get to go to a Equip Expo this year, so this is my chance to try out some new equipment.
That's right. We're happy to have you, Blake.
Thank you. We're going to let Reed take it away and show us some new mowers.
Fantastic.
Today we are in Smithville, Missouri at Heritage Tractor, checking out the John Deere Q850M and the W52R walk-behind mowers. Let's take an in-depth look at these machines.
To start us off today, we are talking about the new Q800 QuickTraks from John Deere. This is a brand new lineup of QuickTraks that just came out here in the spring of 2024, and we're going to have full availability for the first time going into 2025. Now, the machine we're standing in front of today is the Q850M. So the Q stands for our QuickTrak stand-on models. The 8 is the series, so the 800 series is the whole new lineup. We have 5 models in the lineup with multiple engine sizes, deck sizes, an EFI option. We got the whole gamut. And then the 50 tells us the engine that's in there. So this is a Kawasaki engine. All of our commercial grade units, or almost all of them, are Kawasaki engines. And then this is an M trim level, so Deere has E, M, and R trim levels. E is kind of the lower end, more of an economy type model. M for the middle, and R is more of a premium model with all the creature comforts, all the high specs, everything that you could want. So this particular mower is an M model, and one of the first things that you'll notice about this QuickTrak is that it has the 7-iron, 7-gauge deck. This is the first time that this Deere deck has been, that we've had it available for the stand-on machines. So in the past, we've always had fabricated decks, whereas these 7-irons are one solid sheet of metal that are stamped at the factory. So you'll notice that the edges, instead of them being fabricated and welded, they're rounded on the edges, which our engineering team tells us that provides better airflow and in turns better cut quality as those blades are spinning at high speeds.
Gotcha.
So that's a big one there, Blake. How familiar are you with the Deere lineup of QuickTraks?
I'm not familiar at all, man. This is like all new, all learning. This is my mini Equip Expo, because I don't get to go to Equip this year, so we're checking out some new machines. Totally new to me, man.
Good stuff. So glad to hear it, and glad we can do a mini Equip here today. So for the first time with these new QuickTrak, the new QuickTrak lineup, this is the M and R spec machines. These are the first stand-on mowers that John Deere has totally designed and built in-house. So you'll see a lot of John Deere engineering feats that are similar in our zero-turn Z900 commercial grade mowers that we've brought over to now the Q8 stand-on machines. So let's talk a little bit more about those. We already talked about the mowing deck. One thing that's huge that we've really changed on our stand-up lineup is the serviceability and the accessibility that we have for these machines. So you can see that front guard folds all the way down, which gives you as the operator really good access to the top of the mowing deck. And these spindle covers also just pop right off, so you have really good access to get to these grease zerks, as well as just to keep the top of the mowing deck as clean as possible during those hot, dry summer days that we get here in KC. You'll see that the way our engine sits is actually sideways compared to
I was noticing that. I'm like, how in the world does that work?
Yeah, so that's one thing that Deere really focused on, because we wanted the air intake to be toward the front. To keep that, having the guard up, it protects the air intake as best as possible. It also keeps the exhaust pointed away from the operator. So as that hot air blows out from the exhaust, it keeps it off as far away from the operator as possible.
So when you go forward, you don't go sideways, right? Because it's turned sideways.
Yeah.
Sorry, dad jokes, man. Dad jokes.
And then you'll also notice we have all of our oil change equipments right here too. We've got our dipstick highlighted in yellow, the oil filter, and then we have the oil drain tube right here as well. So everything that you would need to change the oil everything is right there to make it really accessible and make it as quick as possible too. Around here and stand on the operator station for me. And one thing you'll notice, so you got your parking brake here on your left side. Pretty straightforward lever, just folds right down. Pretty easy. You can see I did that from the side just with a flick of the wrist.
Yep.
And then we've got just a trash receptacle. Use that for whatever you see fit. You'll also notice that we have dual fuel tanks on both sides of the machine. Both of these tanks are 6 gallons for a total of 12. And what's really cool is that another one of John Deere's strong engineering feats is that these tanks, they draw at the same time. That way you're not having to switch back and forth between tanks manually. You do it at the same. The one caveat to that you will have to fill them both up when you do that. But
that's awesome. So, and then is there a gauge, like a gas gauge?
Yep. So on the M and R's, we have the gas gauge will be up here on your digital display.
Nice.
It also shows you your engine RPMs on the left side, as well as your battery voltage and the hour reader there. So you can see the gas gauge right there in the middle. Park brake is currently engaged. And then if you were to have any trouble codes or anything, it would provide warning lights here on the top bar as well.
And what would that be for? Like,
it could be for if your engine was overheating, or something if the oil in the transaxles was getting too hot, something along those lines that would throw you a warning sign.
Nice.
And then of course, pretty standard choke and throttle. There's your key on-off switch, PTO switch. And then here on the right side for the operator station is the height of pin adjustment. So in order to do that, you just lock this lever up as it is now, pull your pin out, switch it to whatever height you want, and then you simply release the deck down and you're ready to mow.
Nice.
On our previous stand-on mowers, the height, if you run the old 600 series, the height of pin adjustment was way down here by your shin and knee. So moving that up here, again, great job by the Deere engineers to make that happen.
Keep everything up, accessible while you're standing on the mower, not, bending down and
absolutely.
Just
makes it easier.
Makes it easier, and it's, just wasting a few more seconds does add up. I mean,
as silly as it sounds.
There's only so many hours of daylight in the day.
Exactly.
So we talked about accessibility to the front of the machine. Now I want to point out the accessibility we have to the back of the machine. So previously, our lean pads did not come off like this. They only folded about halfway up. So it made it pretty awkward to get to the back of the machine to work on the transaxles, or if you needed to get to the engine, made it really hard to get to that. And the first thing you'll notice is that the battery is right here. That's about as easy access to a battery as I've ever seen on a stand-on machine. And then also, these back shields, one folds down and this middle one comes off, which provides even more access to your wiring harness, to the transaxles are down here. And one thing to point out about those is that these are the same transaxles that we use in our zero-turn lineup. So we have much more continuity between all of our commercial grade products now.
And I kind of overheard, is the decks on these the same as the zero turns as well?
That's exactly right. So
and what benefit is that?
The benefit of having the same blades, the same belts, all of that cohesiveness means you just have fewer parts to worry about in your shop. So that way there's less chance for screw ups to happen.
Is that same blades as well?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's huge because we seem to have a lot of random blades that we don't really know where and what mower and what size they go. So I mean, if you started to build out a fleet, it is something to think about. If we just bought a bunch of 54-inch blades and we know all the machines use them, you can just sharpen up a whole bunch of blades and you know all of them are going to fit.
They're all going to fit. They're all going to, whatever machine they go on, they'll all be right there. But this is one of the biggest things that we talk about with these new stand-ons is the serviceability and really just the accessibility of being able to get to everything as best as you can.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe how much that really opens up. I mean, you can get all the way to the bottom of the unit.
And one other thing I'll call out, so I'm going to fold that back up, and our foot platform also folds up. So for those folks who out there who might have been running the 600 series Deere stand-ons, you look at this machine and you think, well, there's no way these machines are actually the same size. But if you break out the tape measure and actually measure the length of the machine with this foot platform up, the length of the machine is actually almost the exact same as the previous Deere models. Now, it of course is a bit wider. We have bigger tires and bigger decks available now, but the length of the machine, getting your machines on your trailers, those are, they're as long as you have enough width, there's not gonna be too much problem with the length of the machines compared to the old ones.
That's awesome. And what else have we got over here?
So over here we have a John Deere commercial walk-behind mower. This is a W52R. The W just stands for walk-behind, 52 just tells you the deck size. So this is a 52-inch mowing deck. Now, you will notice that unlike the stand-ons and the zero turns, all of our walk-behinds still have fabricated decks. So you can see it's a 52-inch fabricated deck. Pretty straightforward machine here. This is an R-spec machine, so it has a Kawasaki commercial grade engine, just like the stand-ons do, and most of the zero turns as well. Fuel tanks, 5.5 gallons. Obviously very, very handy to get to this to the fuel tank, the battery stored right there. And then the big thing to talk about for the walk-behinds is really the hand controls, the hand levers back here. So obviously we have the orange levers, our parking brake, and then think of these as your safety switch, your operator presence switch. So you have one of those compressed at all times and your machine will continue to idle. But as soon as you let those go, it's gonna die.
Okay.
Yep. So here's of course your choke and throttle, pretty straightforward. Your PTO on-off switch and your key on-off, and then the middle lever here is your forward reverse or your forward neutral lever. So when that's pulled all the way back toward you, that is in neutral, so the machine will just stay right there. But as soon as you push that forward, this machine's going to start to go forward. So you got to be ready. For those folks who are accustomed to running walk-behinds, that's pretty straightforward. But if you have newer, less experienced operators, that's something to really keep in mind, because when you push that thing forward, it's just gonna go. Now, the benefit to that is as soon as you let go, it'll stop. So that's what you always gotta keep in mind. Just let go, it'll stop. Which, unlike zero turns or stand-ons, if you let go, it might just keep going. Yep. So Blake, the last thing I wanna point out to you is that all of our commercial products, you see these have regular pneumatic tires, but all of these products do come from the factory with optional wheels. So that is something for those operators who want the airless tire option, that is available. And then the last thing I want to call out about all of our zero turns, stand-ons, walk-behinds, all of our commercial grade products is the warranty. For the first 24 months, you have an unlimited amount of hours for any of those products. Now, once you get to that third year, we do provide the third year, but that's when the hour limit does start to kick in. So if you're running an E or an M spec machine, the hour limit is 1,200 hours. But when you go to an R spec machine like this walk behind, the hour limit's 1,500. So those are kind of the minor differences that we have as far as the warranty goes.
And something, anytime John Deere gets brought up, all I hear is how awesome the service is. Mm-hmm. And something else I learned today, that if your product, and correct me if I'm wrong, I might butcher this, any product that's under warranty is available for a loaner program?
That's correct. So that's what John Deere, we call it the Never Stop program. So as long as your local participating dealer is a part of the Never Stop program from John Deere, your machine goes down, they send a technician out to check on that machine. If they, for whatever reason, if they can't get the machine back up and running within 24 hours, the dealer will provide a loaner machine to get you back up and going as soon as possible.
I think that's huge, because you know, now we might have a couple machines sitting around in my business, which they shouldn't be. They should be sold or used or grow the business or whatever. If you have a machine sitting around, it's just dead weight. It's just sitting there. You might as well use that capital that you have invested in it somewhere else, or, you know, add another crew or whatever. Why I said that is when I was younger in business and I had one mower, I mean, if that thing goes down,
and someone's 2 weeks out to work on it, my customers are gone. You know, they're gonna leave me and find someone else. That's just the reality. No matter how much a customer loves you, they can't go 2-3 weeks in the springtime without their yard being mowed.
Yep.
And so I think that program is huge at no matter what size company you are. But man, I remember the stress of just having one, even 2 machines when we needed 2 machines. If that thing broke down, we were out of luck.
You're absolutely right. I mean, downtime is dead time, and that is something that working with all the dealers here in the local area, whether you're in Kansas City or Atlanta or wherever that might be, it's impactful for every professional landscaper.
That's awesome. Well, hey, Reed,
Blake,
I appreciate it. Really cool opportunity. Again, shout out to John Deere for letting me test out some new machines, having my own little mini Equip Expo party here, trying to get some brand new machines dirty.
Love it. Thank you for being here, Blake.
So yeah, we'll keep making some videos on these machines and check out how they stripe, how they cut, and how they operate out in the field. Thanks again for watching. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.